Yeah, and we're going to move on here to number 12, the Minnesota Timberwolves. Dolby, I'm just never a big fan of this team. I mean, every year you think they got expectations with Karl Anthony Towns, Andrew Wiggins, those type of guys, and you think they're going to take a step in the Western Conference, and they always disappoint you. I mean, I think it was not the best year last year for the Minnesota Timberwolves, and they're going to have to step it up in the near future, I think, to compete in the Western Conference. They're just not that good of a team, and I like Karl Anthony Towns' game, and I think he's a good offensive presence. I think he's a little bit soft, though. I really think that. Like, I think he's got a good offensive game, but I just think he's a little bit timid, and that's what hurts him, and that's what's been hurting the Minnesota Timberwolves the last few years. Now, I think it was 2 years ago they had to play the Denver Nuggets to get into the playoffs. They won that game and then got blown out by the Houston Rockets, and then last year just took a major step back, really weren't even in the hunt in the playoffs. So I'm not a big fan of this Timberwolves team.
This is a team that has been stagnant since Kevin Love was a rookie. I mean, everybody's been waiting for them to break out and break out and break out, and they trot the same mediocre lineup out there, and the names change, but the potential doesn't. These guys typically are going nowhere. They're battling for the 10 or 9th best team in the West. They're not quite good enough to break through. They can't get over the hump, and they're not quite bad enough to get another star player to put alongside Karl Anthony Towns. I'm sick and tired of Andrew Wiggins. I think he's reached his potential. Everyone talks about, well, if he taps into that, his potential for his defensive ability, he's such an athlete, he's incredible. Dude, this guy, he's been nothing but a streaky shooter, and he'll go and get buckets for you, but like that's all he really brings to the table. He doesn't excite me whatsoever. He's just kind of a flop in my eyes for a number 1 overall pick that you traded an absolute star for, that went and competed for 3 chips and won 1 chip with Cleveland. This is a guy that you needed more out of in Andrew Wiggins, and I agree with you there. Karl Anthony Towns is soft. He's a typical Kentucky big man. We're talking Boogie Cousins. We're talking Anthony Davis. We're talking Karl Anthony Towns. All 3 things that these guys have in common: incredibly gifted, incredible scorers, but incredibly soft.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. And, when I look at this Timberwolves team and just looking at the roster, you got Cove there. He's a good defensive presence, can hit the 3 ball. Jeff Teague, he's still there. You got the same squad here, man. I mean, Gorgie Dieng, it's not a good squad. And, they're going to be disappointing again this year. They're going to be battling for that, 11th, 10th, 9th seed and not make the playoffs.